everyone. I want to welcome you once again to the Scale Passion e-interview series. I am really honored today to be talking to a good friend, Tom Newmark from New Chapter. Tom and I go back a few years now. We actually competed for a while, but in a friendly way, I would like to think.
Absolutely.
And now I count Tom as a good friend. I'm so impressed with New Chapter. If you haven't checked them out, go to their site, newchapter.com. The beautiful thing about New Chapter and Tom, and the founder of New Chapter, is the passion that oozes out of everything they do. And it comes across not only on the website, but when you meet the people, when you look at the product, when you think about the love and attention that goes into the product, when you think about the way they give back to the community, their commitment to the rainforest and Costa Rica and seeds and all the things that you do, just really giving back. It's a real honor to be talking to you and to get some lessons from you today, Tom. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a joy to be with you. I've always loved working with you, Robert, and even working against you. You're one of the competitors who taught me a lot, and I thank you for inspiring us to even be a better company. So I look forward to speaking with you.
Well, I'm still taking my Zyplamend every single day, and the older I get, the more I appreciate it. So
good, excellent. Happy to be of service.
Starting to feel my age. Let's start off a little bit, Tom, with a little bit of the history. I know you've been there you're pushing your second decade at New Chapter as the CEO,
Right.
and you've been there for a little over 10 years. So tell me a little bit about your history with New Chapter, maybe a little bit about the history of New Chapter, and especially for the folks that we're really appealing to with this interview, give us some sense of the growth. You've seen phenomenal growth in the last 10 years, I know that. So if you could give us a little sense of that in terms of number of employees or broad revenue sizes as well, just to give us a sense of where you're at, where you were, and then we'll dive into some questions around inflection points and pain points, that kind of thing.
Right. So the company was started in 1982 by Paul Schulich, who is the founder of New Chapter. He remains the founder and the formulator and the chairman of our board, and he created a wonderful company. He and his wife Barbie had a health food store, a small, tiny, maybe 600 square foot health food store in Lexington, Massachusetts, Mother Nature. And they then moved their business and their family to Brattleboro, Vermont, which is a kind of a Bolshevik socialist republic on the Connecticut River. It's a beautiful community, a very progressive. It's what you think of with Vermont. It is so New England and so charming in all ways. And they started New Chapter in 1982. And Paulie had become a master herbalist. He's a member of the American Herbalist Guild. He was a student of Dr. John Christopher. He was doing herbal extracts, and he was doing them in accordance with the lunar cycles. So he would set the herbs for extraction on the new moon and draw the extracts on the full moon, hence the first name of our company, New Moon Botanicals, New Moon Extracts. And we kept that name actually for quite a while until it became oddly controversial because people thought that we were associated with the Reverend Sun Moon.
Ooh, yeah.
And it was actually keeping us from getting placement on store shelves in some areas of the country. So New Moon became New Chapter, which I really like the name New Chapter a lot because it captures that number one, all of our formulations are new chapters, that we hope to bring something fresh and new and an important, non-incremental, but meaningful step in innovation. And then when a person starts taking our products, that person is starting a new chapter in health personally. So we like the name. And the company was a small company. We started off in a little tiny kind of basement store on Main Street, and literally Main Street in Brattleboro, Vermont. It's now a bicycle shop, but it was a tiny little shop. And we've now grown through several physical incarnations to now having a huge corporate campus with, I don't know, 10 big bays for trucks coming in and out, and a gigantic air-conditioned and climate-controlled warehouse with well, you know what it's like to have a big company, and so the company started, and I was the company's lawyer.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Did you know my checkered past? Paul Schulich and I met in 1970 in college. We were undergraduates at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, and we were very dear friends in college, and we had a lot of common friends. We each started to meditate. This is 1970. It was the wonderful time of progressive thinking. Call us hippies, call us flower children, whatever. But we were of that era, and some people were marching in the streets, and some people were closing their eyes and meditating, and I was in the latter group, and as was Paulie. And he calls me Tommy, and I call him Paulie because we've known each other for 40 years.
Right.
And we were, young students together. And we each actually both, after leaving college, taught meditation at some points together. And then he continued to teach meditation and to begin to become a serious student of herbal medicine. When I took a very different career path, I stumbled, perhaps, and followed in my father's tradition and in my brother's law practice, and I became a lawyer. And I was I would call myself more of an unenlightened lawyer because my law practice was a corporate law practice. So it wasn't like I was screening my clients for social responsibility and organic status, because you're an associate in a big law firm and you take what comes through the door.
Right.
But I did have interesting clients too that supplemented my normal career. I represented the Animal Legal Defense Fund. I handled the case for the river otters of Missouri, seeking protection from underwater trapping. I represented the Natural Law Party, and for a brief moment in time, the Reform Party, when those parties were challenging their exclusion from the 1996 presidential debates. Remember when Ross Perot and Dr. John Hagelin were excluded from the debates?
Right.
Well, that was my lawsuit that we took all the way to at least to the doorway of the Supreme Court. And I represented some very wonderful companies, including New Chapter. Because as New Chapter grew in those first years of its life, it's good to have people that you can call and talk to. And I was an experienced business lawyer, and Paul Schulich and I were friends, and so he would call me, and he would talk about business challenges and legal challenges, which every company has.